is called the Vang Farm Bok Choy Herb Salad. And let's get started with this dressing. I love making fresh dressings. Once you eat fresh dressings, you will no longer be able to eat bottled dressings at all. Okay, so in my dressing, I have some Dijon mustard that's going to emulsify all of the ingredients together. I'm going to put some ground ginger. It does call for fresh ginger, but I'm out of fresh ginger today, so let's do some ground ginger right in there. We're going to have some black sesame seeds. You can also use toasted white sesame seeds, no problem. We're going to do some soy sauce in here. I have some sesame oil. So that sesame oil is there. And I'm going to use some honey. So some honey goes in there. And I'm going to do some miso paste. You can find miso paste in most of your local grocery stores, even like at Ralph's or Vang's, they'll have miso paste as well. Definitely at Whole Foods. And lastly, a little bit of rice vinegar. This is our dressing. You can blend it up, you can whisk it up, you can do it by hand with a spoon, just as long as it gets mixed together. And then I'm going to prepare all the vegetables for you. All right. This dressing will keep for several weeks in a good airtight container in the refrigerator. And you can use it also as a marinade as well as a dressing. All right, so there is our dressing. Smelling delicious. All right. Time to prepare the vegetables. Okay, this is a flowering bok choy. Absolutely gorgeous. I'm going to take about half of this bunch and just give this a rough chop. On the bias means on the angle in cooking. And look, guys, we're going to eat flowers today too. So I'm going to throw all of this into my dressing so that I can give that a toss. In addition to that, I'm going to throw some celery. I'm going to show off my gorgeous farmer's market celery. Look, guys, how big and beautiful and gorgeous this celery is. And I know that if you love to eat celery, but you don't eat it fast enough at home, the celery can get droopy like this, right? So the trick to that is that you're going to treat celery just like a plant. What you're going to do is you're going to cut off the bottom of the celery, and you can put it in a vase or a container of water. So cut off the bottom inch of the celery, put it in a container of water, leave it out on the stovetop, not in the refrigerator, not on the stovetop, but on the countertop, and then leave it out. The celery will drink up the water and stay tall and stiff and beautiful. And then, just like with flowers, if you see that the celery is getting tired looking or the water is getting dirty looking, change out the water and cut off another inch of your celery. And that will keep your celery going the entire time. I also do not throw away the tops of the celeries. We eat these beautiful, gorgeous leaves that are full of amazing, delicious celery flavor. So now this celery is so big, we just need like one stalk of celery for this particular salad. So here I've got my bok choy in my salad dressing. I'm going to throw in some celery as part of my base. Yes. Leaves and everything. The leaves are edible and have a ton of beautiful celery flavor. They have a gorgeous texture, and then they make your salad nice and leafy. Okay, in goes the celery. Now this is an herb salad. So we're going to put all kinds of herbs in. First, I'm going to start with some mint. Here's some beautiful mint. Rough chop that. There we go. So rough chop the leaves. In go the mint leaves. I'm going to throw in some cilantro. Now, one of the things that you'll notice that I'm doing with all these herbs is that I rough chop them, including the stems, and I throw the stems in as well. The stems of the herb, as long as they're not woody or tough, are completely 100% edible, and they carry the herb's flavor as well. It helps to reduce food waste by using the stem of the plant, and that's always a good thing to reduce waste. Here's some dill. We use a tremendous amount of dill in Vietnamese cooking. So dill, cilantro, mint, and I'm going to use basil. If you can get your hands on some Thai basil, great. You can substitute and use some Thai basil. Otherwise, using regular Italian sweet basil is going to be perfectly fine. Okay, So here's some basil going in. So in this bowl, I've got celery, I've got bok choy, I've got dill, I've got basil, I've got mint, and I've got cilantro. I'm gonna start to plate this guy up, and then we'll put our toppings on as well. Just 2 toppings. So I'm gonna give this a toss. Now, one of the things people ask me about restaurant food versus cooking at home is they always ask me, Kim, your dishes at the restaurant look so beautiful. How can I get my food to look like that at home too? Now, with salads, I know that when people pre-toss their salads and dressings, one of the things that happens is that it doesn't look as nice. When you put all of the toppings in there as well, all the toppings fall to the bottom of the salad bowl, and we don't know what's in the salad. So at the restaurant, we actually toss our ingredients separately in the salad dressing and painstakingly top the salad with the beautiful toppings. So I'm gonna do that a little bit here today to show you what a difference that makes and how your salad looks. I'm picking out the individual flowers of the bok choy to make that look beautiful. And I'm actually also going to top this particular salad with a carrot. So we're gonna do some julienne carrots. So here's my carrot. You'll get to learn how to julienne a little bit. So julienne carrots. We've got making our carrots stable, and we're gonna do thin planks so that it can get a nice julienne product. You do need a very sharp knife. Don't be afraid of sharp knives. The sharper your knife, the less likely you are to cut yourself. I know that sounds like the opposite thing. However, if your knife is very sharp, you don't need to press as hard on your food in order to cut it. And usually it's when you're pressing really hard or really forcing your knife, that's when you cut yourself. But if the knife is very sharp and just glides through the food very easily, then you actually handle your knife much more gently. Okay, so in goes some julienne carrot. I'm also going to julienne some raw red beets. I gotta grab my beet from down below. I've got my raw beet. This one I need a glove for. Gloves. At home I typically don't wear gloves, but the beets stain you, which I typically don't mind. But today I'm going shopping for ao dai, so I want to look clean and beautiful. My sister is getting married in July in Vancouver, and she's instructed us, please, your best ao dai. Ao dai is the traditional national dress for Vietnamese women. I'm very excited to go down to Orange County to see my mom and get some new dresses. Okay, so I'm gonna peel up. Now, I know some of you either love beets. So usually when we talk about beets, people either say, I love beets, or they say, I hate beets. I've never heard anyone say like, no, beets are okay. It's either like, I love beets or I hate beets. Now, I wanna encourage you in the farmer's market to try your vegetables both raw and cooked. If you don't like cooked beets, there's a chance you might really love raw beets instead. It has a completely different texture. For a lot of people, I think it's the beet texture. Like a cooked beet texture is kind of weird for some people, not just the flavor. But a raw beet is both crunchy, vegetable, flavor of the earth, but totally different. All right, I'm also gonna cut some beet planks to get a nice julienne beet. A raw beet does have a raw carrot-like texture to it. So if you don't mind the texture of a raw carrot, then you may be able to eat a raw beet. The color is gorgeous, and so is the flavor. All right, so this is how you julienne vegetables. Julienne means basically cutting them into matchsticks. And at the restaurant, that's something we pay attention to because we want the food to be visually appealing. And in order to do so, we think about shape, just like with an artist. Shape, color, texture, space, all the things an artist would think about, we think about in our food plating as well. So I have a gorgeous deep green salad with beautiful herbs for different tastes. I have my sprouting bok choy yellow flowers right on top. My raw beets and carrots julienne, different shapes, colors, textures, flavors. This is our final recipe of the day. This is our Vang Farm raw bok choy herb salad topped off with